Rolling.
Get over here.
All right. Here I am.
Alrighty.
Welcome everyone for our 2025
recap.
Yeah, recap. It's this whole year has gone by so quickly. I keep forgetting what number of year it is. So
Been a busy year.
2025 it is.
And we started off with a bang.
Yeah, actually we'll go back to November as usual. Actually no, let's just go to December.
December, we spent some time with family.
Yeah, so we celebrated my mom's 90th
Wow.
birthday, and that was kind of a miracle because she was hospitalized for a minor stroke, but she was in the hospital for a couple of days, so it was good to have her home doing her birthday.
And then we celebrated the holiday with family, and then we left the following day or the next 2 days for Germany, and then we spent the New Year's in Annweiler with my family, celebrating the start of 2025. And that was a banging moment in New Year's. Lots of festivities in that great little town where the Braun family is from, in Annweiler, Germany. They really celebrate the New Year's with fireworks all along the hillside. It was quite a lot of fun, and we visited lots of little towns, Speyer and Landau and Annweiler and others in the area while we were there.
Yeah, and then after Annweiler, we went to Morocco for the first time. My first time in Africa, I think his first time in Africa, so that was quite a great trip. And we made some videos of that if you want to check it out. And it was really eye-opening.
Yeah, Marrakesh was the city we went into. So Marrakesh is an old castle city, and we've got a lot of stories about Marrakesh.
Yeah. And then after Marrakesh, we went to Barcelona, Spain.
And we spent almost a week, 5 days, 6 days in Barcelona. We had a condo in the city, and so that was another medieval city built into a castle, but starkly different between the two, Marrakesh and Barcelona. More modern one, more historic the other.
Going to February, unfortunately, my mom passed due to some complications after her stroke. She had RSV, and then that kind of took her to the hospital, and then we unfortunately said goodbye to her at that time. So it's been a year of loss, and this goes out to other folks out there who we know who have experienced loss as well with their dear loved ones, both relatives and coworkers and friends. It was just that type of year. And then into March, my mom's funeral was in the beginning of March. She passed February 12th, and then her funeral was a couple weeks later. Got to see family. I mean, unfortunately, in sad circumstances, but still good to see family, no matter what. Okay, then April, to celebrate both our birthdays, we went to New Clairvaux.
Vina.
Yeah, New Clairvaux Vineyard in Vina, California, which is about 2 hours away from Sacramento, to celebrate both our birthdays. We bought this excursion through the St. Francis
wine dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our church sponsored, had a dinner, and then we bought this, and then we went with our priest and our friend Father Amir,
and some other good friends.
Yeah, so we celebrated that when some other folks
explored the monk's cellars and the winery and the cathedral chapel.
It's a very nice place,
and it's a retreat center.
Yeah,
that's what it is for the monks.
Mm-hmm.
They get you drunk on wine. They cook great food, and then you wander the grounds.
Right.
Don't fall in the clique.
Right.
Also in April, the second half of April, I had an opportunity to go down to Southern California, to Huntington Beach. A little bit of throwback to my past when I used to live down in Long Beach and drive through Huntington Beach. And so I took an afternoon and drove up to Long Beach. It was a gray, dismal day, but Long Beach was actually kind of sunny. It was the first time I'd rented an electric car, and so that was a little bit of a journey. And then at the end of the day, I went to go recharge the car, and there was no charging cable. So then I had to be conscientious of where I drove the next couple of days, which was limited because I just stayed in the Huntington Beach area. But it was one of those moments where I had anxiety about charging, fuel charging anxiety. I found the charging station, but then there was no cable in the car for the charging. So I can see how people would get a little nervous about renting an electric car and then not knowing where to charge it.
Moving on to May, that was a fun trip to New York City that we had for a long weekend. Not a fun fact, but the fact is that originally we planned to stop in New York, which we did on the way back from Morocco, Spain, and Germany in January.
And had to spend 24 hours in New York City, or New York and Newark. And we got to check out the TWA Museum, which was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Got to. And then we did a quick trip into New York City Times Square. It was cold. But that was about all we got to see in January.
Right. But something happened. Oh, you know why? It was to see Nicole Scherzinger in Sunset Boulevard, which was the talk of the town. But we found out a few weeks earlier that she was not playing that day that I had bought tickets for originally. So we moved the trip to May instead. And then that was great. We saw Sunset Boulevard, Old Friends, the Stephen Sondheim
with
kind of review.
Bernadette Peters.
And Lea Salonga. It was a great show. We also went to a piano bar, which he can enthusiastically
hung out at after the show, and we were there till just about 3 a.m, singing along, just having a great time, and the bartenders and the staff all sang in each one of the songs. It was really a lot of fun. And it was just blocks from where the hotel we were staying in. It was all walkable.
Okay, moving on to June. Let's talk about ALC. The last ALC ride.
Oh, so we went to the opening ceremonies of AIDS Life Cycle Ride, which was doing their last ride. I did this in 2006, 7, and 8. So I have good friends who continue to ride with ALC, and it was a little bit nostalgic for me. And we went to the opening ceremonies, as we've done a number of times in Cal Palace. But it gave us a chance to see friends that were riding out, and then also connect up with friends afterwards in the city. So it was a nice, touching moment to see that journey come to an end and be at that part. So it was a nice day.
Yeah.
So we also experienced a couple of other passings in the month of May and June. A good friend of ours at the St. Francis Church, who we'd enjoyed having breakfast with after Mass a number of times over the years, Myrna, who was a fantastic traveler. She'd passed away, and so we had her memorial service in May. And then shortly after that, a person, George, who had welcomed us to the church many and many a times, and we had his memorial service shortly after that. And then my sister's brother-in-law, Bob, passed away. So there was a few right in a row in that May-June period, people that passed along. So in January, I also had the fortunate pleasure of kicking off the Marshall New Era Community Garden. I played an instrumental role in creating that. It was a former community garden that had closed up, and then I started seeking new gardeners and connected with the Marshall New Era community, which had a lot of the former gardeners. We were able to reform a partnership and started a community garden again. And it's literally just blocks away from our home. And in my little 12 by 12 plot, I was fortunate enough to have a very prolific garden where I grew onions and garlic, beans, squash, lots of squash, tomatoes, chard, and it was one of those fun things that every time I go to the community garden, clean up my garden spot, pick the produce from the garden spot, water it, wander throughout the other garden plots to see what other people were growing, the beautiful flowers, the bees, the nature, and just coming together as a sense of community in a neighborhood. Really, it was a nice experience.
Yeah, he brought home so much produce. That soil is very, very rich, and so it allowed him to bring lots of goodies home.
Yeah, I canned up a lot of tomato sauce. Got lots of squash, lots of butternut squash, lots of things to come. So,
yeah,
fun experience.
They're still on our counter, some of them.
Yes.
And frozen too.
Lots of food.
July, we drove up again to Ashland, Oregon to see the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. We went with our friend's family of the actor that we know. So a bunch of folks from this area and the Bay Area drove up to see him perform in Into the Woods, which is great. I'm always amazed how, this place in the middle of, the woods, beautiful area. They have top-notch talent performing in these, and we also saw importance of being earnest. So that was a fun trip to enjoy with, our friends and their whole family. Back to June, my little multimedia company, or our little multimedia company, Villa B ENT, grew a little bit or moved a little forward. So we got a camera and some other equipment, audio equipment, just to get a little bit more serious and to get some clients so I can really hone in on, filmmaking, videography, some other fun things like that, that I want to do post-retirement from my current job. And then hopefully maybe, turn that into a full-time gig.
Part-time.
In retirement. So I as you know, I enjoy making content like this. So that was an exciting thing. I got a couple of what do you call it? Contracts with, the Rainbow Chamber was one. BPS, of course, is my number one client. Woohoo.
You also got a studio space.
Oh yeah. Coming to you live from the boiler room in the Dingbat building.
The studio.
Yeah, so we're in the studio that I'm renting for the moment.
Yep, to give them some place of ownership,
a
destination.
Right.
Then it helped expand your podcasts.
Yes, that I produced a podcast for some friends, local drag icon, Do Me More. Yeah, so this could turn into, I'm hoping to turn it more into a bigger endeavor. Late August, September, I started Spanish class at Sac State, which was very exciting. It's been rough, all those verbs and conjugations, but getting through it. I'm getting ready for my finals in a couple of weeks. So kind of nervous, wish me luck. And we'll see how far it could take me. I'll touch base on this a little bit more in a couple of months.
Sí, tienes muchas preguntas.
Sí. Okay.
All right, another highlight in September was a trip to Bend, Oregon, to get to spend a week at my sister and brother-in-law's cabin. They have a beautiful cabin that they'd remodeled this last year in Bend, Oregon. And so my oldest sister Karen, asked if I wanted to join her for a week. It was a working week-long vacation. It was a great way to vacation and do some work every morning. She and I both had different work things that we were handling, and then we'd get to spend the afternoon. So I was able to bicycle around Sun River on multiple times throughout that and explore little restaurants and cafes, but more importantly, just the cycling trails. But it was a real treat to spend a week with my sister Karen. She and I spent with her nephew. She and I spent a week and a half, 2 weeks in Europe in 2014, when Cameron, my nephew, her son, had graduated from college. And we did that in Europe. So here was an opportunity for Karen and I to spend a week together. We're good travel companions and enjoyed a week at their place in Sun River, Oregon.
October, fun times. Beginning of October, we went to Maine to visit my cousin, and she visited here in April. So that was fun. My first time to be in Maine, but he's been there for
Once there. So it was my second time.
yeah, okay.
And fall was a beautiful time to go there.
Mm.
I had been there in January, which is a different time of year
Yeah.
in Maine.
So we were I think right at that transition where everything was closing for the touristy stuff.
Summer season had come to an end.
Yeah. I was a little disappointed. We got there a little too early for the leaves to
really
change
come.
colors. I mean, we saw a little bit of that, but the weather was also a little bit warmer than for my taste.
But it's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous.
Totally, yeah.
Much different than January.
Yeah, we're planning to go back in 2026 in August to hopefully go camping. So stay tuned for that.
In October, we also celebrated the life of my Aunt Audrey. She'd passed over the summer. She had passed at the age of 92 and lived a very rich life in Davis, California for the most part of it. And so the memorial service was in October. We got to spend some time with cousins and family, celebrating her life and all the factors that she gave to each and every one of us and how she touched us in her journey in life.
So in November, my film Granite and Marble from last year for the place called Sacramento Film Festival also had its encore at the Davis Film Festival, which was kind of nice to see it one last time in the big screen.
And it had been on this big screen in a number of film festivals throughout the year. He likes to say that. But it kept rolling throughout the year. Granite and Marble had many a plays
It
on
did.
the big screen.
Yeah, there are several in Southern California, and then one in Iowa, the Ottumwa Film Festival. Unfortunately, I did not get to go to any of these film festivals this year, but you know, I'm glad that the film got a little bit of traction.
And what's its next journey?
Next journey is syndication. That we'll see how that goes. Through syndication through a film festival organization, children's film festival organization. Yeah, you know, a penny here, a penny there. Woohoo!
Another highlight for the year was for Braun Properties, BPS, my company. We had started the year with just over 450 units, and we're on track to close the year to be over 700 units. So we've had another phenomenal year of growth, and we look forward to even more growth. We've hired some more employees, grew the company, grew our footprint, grew our office space this year. So continue to grow.
And as we wrap up 2025's recap, we wish you all very happy holidays and end of the year and amazing start to 2026.
And may you find a place on this map to be traveling to next, because we're heading back to there, or there, or there sometime soon.
Yeah. We do have big travel plans in
2026.
end of December. We're going to spend the New Year's in Mexico City and Guadalajara to visit his cousin there and some friends. And then in end of January, a plan to go back to Germany for a couple of days and Valencia, Spain. España.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for rolling with us this year. We hope to roll with you again for many more years to come.
And here's to rolling with the Pauls. Happy New Year.